Yes.
Okay.
It's almost there. Okay. All right, we're all set. Hopefully the others will join us.
Suzanne,
Okay.
there are some people in my house that when they come into the room I'm in, I have to put my mask on.
Oh, okay. I was wondering about that. Okay, I
Yeah.
will call to order the a quick little meeting of the Parks and Conservation Land Board, just to do a little bit of introductions. And I want to figure out how to share a screen, which I already did yesterday, and I did, but I also want to make sure everybody knows each other so that when we actually do have a big meeting on Thursday morning, that we will all be set for that. So let me just share right now what would be an agenda, if I can. I figured this out yesterday, which was great. As long as with Toady and I. Okay. Do you see the agenda?
That
Yeah.
works.
It worked?
Yep.
Yay, okay, there we go. So part of these whole Zoom meetings, as you guys know, because Toady just mentioned it, is that we will be recording, and also members of the public will be able to attend if they would like. And so that's the reason why I want to make sure I put up an agenda type of deal, just real quickly, so that if members of the public, you guys all will have your documents, but the members of the public won't have documents and won't know what the heck we're talking about. So that's really the only reason. This is pretty generic type of agenda, but I basically wanted to start by calling it to order and introducing and letting everybody else introduce themselves to each other if you want. So how do you usually do that? How about just tell a little bit about yourself? How's that? Rachel Henderson, how about you start?
Sure. I've been on this. I was trying to figure last night. I think 6 years, maybe. And seen both the Benjamin Farm through and the Blue Point Reserve. So it's good that we're back. Let me just say that there's a good evaluation process to follow. This will be the first time, I guess, that we've had the public comment, so I don't know how that's going to work, but I guess I welcome it. And I'm looking forward to whatever this new process is, or the new property that might be coming up. Andrew McKee came to the Conservation Commission last night, Mackie, and he introduced himself and talked a little bit about what the Land Trust wanted to do, and what they were looking at. So very shortly, I'm going to have to turn off my my sound because the vacuum cleaner is coming through. So anyhow, I'm looking forward to this.
Okay, great, thanks. And Jane?
I'm Jane Palmer, and I moved to Scarborough in June of 2015. And then I think it was a couple of years later that I joined this board. And I'm starting my second, it's a 3-year term, isn't it, Tony and Suzanne?
Yeah, I have you down for 2023 right now.
Right. I
So
just
you're
went
through.
back on at the end of the year. And I have the majority of my work has been when I was working was in fundraising, and especially in trust and estates fundraising. I also worked for a number of years at the American Museum of Natural History. I was interested in the job because I was interested in the environment and got even more so there. So I spent a bunch of time there, and I'm an active member of 350 Maine, among other things. And so, you know, this is, I really enjoyed the evaluation of the Blue Point property, that beautiful down into the salt marsh. I mean, just gorgeous.
Yeah.
I'm glad that the public, the meetings will be open to the public so that people will be more aware of what we're doing and its importance. Because it really is so important to preserve the character of the area and not let it be, you know, sort of mowed under yeah, it's just totally homogeneous, unidentifiable modern suburbia. You know. Anyway, so I'm really happy about this new development.
Yeah, great. Okay, and Noah.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me. I am also at the same time joining the Conservation Commission. Just had our second meeting last night. So I'm really excited to be serving the town as best I can. I moved to Scarborough about 12 years ago, so I haven't been here too long. And I live over near the Blue Point School right off the Eastern Trail. I'm a professor at UNE. I study birds and do a lot of active field research, including one project in Scarborough on the section of the Eastern Trail that's soon to be built. So I just really have a deep love and appreciation for all of our open spaces in town and hope to contribute as best I can.
Great. And I'm Suzanne Foley Ferguson, and I have a long history with the town, beginning with the Conservation Commission, and then with the, I don't know what order this was in, Open Space Committee, which was part of, and the Growth and Service Committee, which was part of the very first comprehensive plan. And then I served as a counselor for 6 years. And after which, and then I participated also with affordable housing for a while. But right now, my only job is chairing this committee. So I should be able to focus on it pretty well. But the Zoom stuff is not my piece of, or my cup of tea, I guess is what you'd say, or piece of cake, or whatever you call it. I'm more of a in-person kind of person. Anyway, so I've been involved in creating the acquisition process, which was it was right back with the first, in 2000 when we did our first, it was our first referendum. So now we've had 4 referendums, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4, which is really amazing. I think it's the most, even though we are the biggest fastest growing town in Scarborough, I think we're also, or in Maine, I also think we're the town that spent the most municipal dollars on conservation, which we need to do. So that's exciting. So anyway, we created this acquisition process based on what was called the Beginning with Habitat. And I think Jane knew a little bit about this, and Noah, you probably just know about this just being a professor and having been probably well-read is my guess. But do you know about the Beginning with Habitat project? You do, okay. So in general, the acquisition evaluation process really is geared towards protecting the most vulnerable lands, or at least prioritizing them if there's competition. So far, we haven't really had competition with money. All the projects that came before us have been approved. And that's not to say they weren't valuable, because they are. And I think we've been discriminate, and I think we've been consistently objective, and each of them. And as soon as we get Doug on here, maybe we'll go over some of the issues, but we do need to reevaluate our acquisition process too, because it's been 2003 is when it was completed. And I think we started it in 2000. So it's been 20 years. Can you believe it? Wow. Tony knows me for that long, don't you? Crazy. So I'm going to just share the screen of this, let's see. So what you're looking at now, supposed to be, is what the town council, when the town council established the Parks and Conservation Land Board. And So our duties are to develop this written acquisition process and also to evaluate potential acquisitions in a consistent manner. And then we advise the town council on the process. And we recommend any conditions. Now, I will say that in the past, we will recommend, say, for instance, that something should be doubly, we should put 2 easements on it. Or we might recommend that the town maintain, the rights to a trail, or there's all kinds of things that we can recommend, but no matter what we recommend, the town council is the final determinant of what happens. And actually, administratively, usually what happens, if it's a land trust project, the land trust ends up doing it administratively with the town manager and or community services. I'm not even really sure. So there is also a land acquisition fund that was created, and the purposes are threefold, but the details in the actual referendums is a little bit more specific, or at least the first 3 referendums were. I'm not sure about the last one. I wasn't too involved, but there are also deposits that are put into this fund, apparently from unspent town committees, which probably they spend all their money and probably there isn't any. I don't know. That's one thing I have to ask the town about. There are some projects in town, I believe, that use the open space impact fee. So we may have more than the $2.5 million actually in that account. There might be some left over. The 2.5 million is from the referendum, but there may be other fees in there that have been placed placed in the fund. Okay, so is Doug there?
Yes, I am, but I'm having trouble with the video here.
I was too, so don't feel bad.
I think the camera's turned off on this laptop, so, but I can hear and I can see you guys and I'll figure it out.
Okay, Rachel?
Yeah, we heard last night from John Clucci that the town council used some of that fund to purchase the Masonic building in Dunstan Corners. One of the things it's used for is the purchase of preservation of historic sites. And they did use some of that. I can't remember what the price was, a couple $100,000, but anyhow, that's so.
Yeah, and
so we have about 2 million now in the fund.
Okay, how much did they use for that?
I don't know. John didn't know, but it did come out of that. So we probably should use use 2 million as a sort of a benchmark for what we've got right now.
Well, maybe I'll try to.
He thought there was about 2.2 left.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll try to get some details on the numbers. Doug, would you like to introduce yourself? Noah's our newest member here. I think you've met Jane and Rachel.
Talking to me?
Sure, Doug. Just introduce yourself real quick to Noah. Or not. Okay. So he's still trying to figure out the video. For some reason, when I did it, just so you know, Doug, if you're listening to me, every time I was clicking on my arrow, it was taking me to a whole screen. I was selecting items, but there was no place to double click to say, yes, I wanted it. I finally went back to the main screen and just double clicked on it and it went on. And I don't know if that will help you or not. But I went to the main screen, clicked the bottom left twice. You still there, Doug?
Yeah, no, I am. I am.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and I can hear what's going on, and I am just a little upset that I didn't do this ahead of time. So I didn't realize the camera on my laptop was totally shut off. I always use the iPad, so I should have done that.
Well, don't worry about it. That's one of the reasons why we had this little quick meeting, because this isn't the real, I mean, this is a meeting, but it's not the real meeting.
Right, no, this is a good idea. Clearly a good idea. So
Yeah. So do you want to stop for a second and just tell Noah a little bit about yourself, or
A little bit about me. Oh,
yeah, just
okay.
your history with the group?
I've been involved with conservation issues and land acquisition issues in Scarborough since the late 1990s, involved with the Scarborough Land Conservation Trust and the Conservation Commission in Scarborough and various planning groups for the town. And when we came up with this idea of a land bond, I was part of the group that wrote wrote up this committee with the intention of having us be able to help with the acquisition process as groups brought conservation proposals before the town. So been involved for quite a while and I really enjoy it. I don't have as much time to be involved with town things as I did, but I enjoy being with this group.
Yeah, I guess I'd say one of the advantages to this group is that we don't meet up all the time, right? Or you could say that was a disadvantage too, but we
That's
are
right.
gonna, I think we are gonna have to try to this year, we're gonna have to try to meet a little bit more regularly if we want to go over the acquisition process, if we want to sort of evaluate it. And one of the things we should do as we are looking at this new project is probably taking notes as to what are the things we think we should change, or what are the things we think are good. It's really a good process. I think we did a great job about on it. I'll just jump right into what the process is real quick. And if anybody has any questions, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but I would just quickly say that there is a long report that exists that we talk about the history of the program and the town and the background and where monies come from and the purpose of the bond measures and the land acquisition fund. Oh no, I really want to just get to the actual process. So here's the process. Can you guys see this pretty well? This is, again, not necessarily for you, also for the public too. What we have to keep considering is that there are other people that might be listening or looking at this and they don't even know our process. So the acquisition evaluation process is, there's an acquisition form. The land trust hasn't turned that in yet because I was looking for the actual original document that I couldn't find, and I finally found it. So Andrew has it. Andrew Mackey is the executive director of the Scarborough Land Trust. Now, anybody can apply for this for funds, for using funds, but mostly the people we've had apply were the Scarborough Land Trust, the Maine Farmland Trust, and it seems like there was one more entity. And then as far as the money being used for historical things, the archway that is in Municipal Park was paid for with these funds, as was the old schoolhouse on, does anybody know what road that was? Is it, it's an old one-room schoolhouse, not the one on Black Point Road, but it's another one out.
It's off isn't it off Beach Ridge Homes?
Yes,
that
that's
area?
right.
Yep.
That's right. Beach Ridge Homes. So anyway, the application process. We asked them to fill out this and provide us with maps, location, parcels. Now, since 2000, it's been amazing how GIS has advanced and how the town's GIS system has advanced in every organization, and then just all the technology. So you got to remember that our process was put together when we didn't have access to a lot of that. I was able to go over, we were able to get physical maps from the beginning with Habitat Program. Which is a program at the state level. And we use those maps to compare the land parcels that were part of the application process to see, were there endangered species, were there, but it was more of a physical comparison. And now we have the ability to actually do this technologically and see it. So we're sort of gradually moving over to that. So the next meeting, which is this Thursday, this is what will happen. The presentation to the Parks and Conservation Land Board. Basically, the Land Trust was going to talk about this project, which they're calling the Livy project because that's the name of the people who own the property. They don't always keep that name, just so you know, because I think like the Meserve Farm is now Broad Term Farm, I believe. It depends on whether or not the landowner actually gave it as a donation or if they were, usually this is the discussion. The discussion is in the land trust of what they're going to call it, not the town necessarily, depending who holds the easement or who's the owner of the property. And the land trust will decide. And one of the factors is whether the family has donated a considerable amount of that property or whether they got market value for the property because they're basically selling it. So anyway, they're going to present to us next Thursday. Then we are going to do a preliminary evaluation. That's basically, we're just going to talk about it. We'll schedule a site visit if we think we would like to. It's really fun to do site visits. It's been very valuable. It's fun and nice, and we get a real feel for the property and we get to talk to each other about it. And so the detailed assessment is the longest part of our process, and that's as quantitative. It's supposed to be very objective based on, and it has been, based on a number of different issues. And I'm going to get to that form right now. That form is right here. Doug, have you happened to found the original of this by chance?
Oh, the original file?
Yeah.
I haven't, but I will. I'm sure I have it.
Because Doug, so when we actually wrote these reports up, Doug did a lot of I was going to say financial stuff, but you did do the financial stuff too, but also just a lot of the spreadsheet information. And so I didn't have those files and I should have. But anyway, this is what it looks.
I think I promised those before and have not followed through, so I'll get on that.
Okay. So anyway, we go through and evaluate the property in a very detailed manner, and we give points per acre. And this, when I say this was based on the beginning with habitat, the essential thing with habitat, and you in an email, I think Noah mentioned connectivity, and connectivity for animal species is super important. Size of the property is very important. Whether there are rare or endangered species, plants or animals. And then for large mammals, it is the connectivity of parcels. And in fact, at the very end of our evaluation, this has been the hardest. Whoops, where is it? Ooh. I should be using my up and down arrows because I'm screwing up here. See, this is part and parcel of learning. Okay, so now I'll use my up and down arrows. It doesn't go quite as fast. So the size of parcels, as you can see, a greater parcel will get more, a larger parcel will get more points. But also a parcel that creates a link between undeveloped parcels that are protected is getting points. So anyway, what I started to say was the hardest thing for us to evaluate is the shape. And when we looked at the beginning with habitat program, what we realized is long, skinny parcels are less valuable than parcels that have more of a circular shape. And that's on a landscape scale, obviously. But we gave it a point value, and we attempt to do it in a mathematical way. And it's something we need to look at to make sure we still would like to do this. I think we've been, it really hasn't been a make it or break it kind of thing for recommendations to the council. But so does anybody have any questions about this? Oh, so then after we do this detailed assessment, we compare it to benchmark properties. I forgot about that part. But I do have another document I can share with you, which is, where is it? Oh, right here. These are benchmark properties or properties that we evaluated with this form prior to being adopted by the council. And as you can see, some of these are not even purchased, or some of, well, Tibbetts Road, the town owns. The Broadturn Farm, which was formerly the Missouri Farm, was one of the first properties we evaluated. The Liberty River Farm, actually, I was involved in writing grants for that property. That property was never funded through the, well, I don't know. I don't think it was funded through, it was right prior to the 2000 referendum, I believe. I'm not positive. Campfire was a project we were trying to get on board 2 or 3 times. And then the Scarborough River Wildlife Refuge is a town-owned parcel. Anyway, the whole idea is that we compare what these parcels look like in every category. Can you see the whole, you probably can't see the whole benchmark. I don't know if I can scroll. Are you seeing the actual categories right now? Like, can you see where I'm pointing to right now? Creating a link between trails?
Yes,
You can
I
see that.
can,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so you can see where different properties. See, now I'm so much more advanced with Excel. I know how to freeze the top frame. So I should be able to freeze this before we use it again. We could freeze this top frame. But what you're doing is you're comparing all of these resources and giving them a value. And then in the end, obviously parcels that look really big score high, but look at this one on Tibbetts Road. Its score is 910. It's only 70 acres, whereas Missouri was. And the reason sometimes that happens is because there is rivers running through properties. And that's what I think this project that's coming up is going to show you, that the value of protecting both sides of a river is really important. The animals receive water. And so with this evaluation process, a river protected on both sides gets a lot of points, as do salt marshes. And let's see, what else can I say? Does anybody have any questions about that?
So if people look at the document, the evaluation document, they can see the breadth of the dimensions that we were trying to capture, so that we wouldn't turn away properties that had value of one type versus properties that had value of another. So it's a multidimensional evaluation, and as a result, it's complex. But when we walk through it as a group and go through it, trying to do a property, it generally becomes pretty easy for people to understand what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to this one here. Okay, Doug, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying that, when you look at the sheet, it doesn't look like a lot, but once you're going through it, it makes more sense. So with a real property and talking about the parcels and the views and the connectivity and the resource values. The resource values is a piece that not everybody is aware of, and that's an important part of this.
So as you can see right here, for instance, the map reference, how do we tell whether it creates a link between undeveloped? Now, originally in 2000, and as we went through this, we would take that beginning with habitat, which is a state map. The map was called Large Undeveloped Habitat Blocks from 2001. These are all updated, but typically what's happening now is the applicant is actually providing this information, which saves us a heck of a lot of time, but not always. So we do sometimes have to dig out a map, a similar map of large undeveloped habitat blocks and compare that. But these, and this also talks about another map reference. So, okay, if there's no more questions, that's pretty much all I had. We have to schedule we have to schedule our meeting and then see if there's any public. Is there any public here, Jody? No? Okay. So there's not gonna be any public comment, just comments from us. I think, did you ever get did Sean Flaherty ever contact you back, Tody?
No. I'll call him and Rick later today. Make
Okay.
sure that,
Tony, I still don't have an email from you for our next meeting.
really, I'll
Okay.
resend them. And I'm going to check on the Google Calendar for Noah. Maybe if I can send it out that way, it populates those who have Google. Yeah.
Oh, mine said, do you want to add to Google? And I could have said yes or no,
Okay.
but
So Tony,
I'll
either Google or Outlook
Okay.
would be great.
I'll do that this afternoon.
Yeah, I have both AOL and Google, and I use my AOL, and Google doesn't like AOL. So if you send it to Google, and I don't look into my Gmail account, which I seldom do, it won't get to my AOL.
Okay.
so let's see. Can you tell I'm raising my hand?
Yes.
Okay. Do a lot of people use this technique or do they pretty much wave like this, Tody?
Some
Both.
committees, it's the raise of hand, and others just raise their hand.
Okay. Does
They don't
everybody,
use the,
okay. Does everybody see where that raising your hand is?
Yeah, I
Press the
do.
bottom.
How do you get that to come up?
You
just
just
click on
click
it.
it?
Click on the hand?
Mhm.
Yep. Okay, I can see now that, whoops.
Probably not going to see anything on me anyway, so.
No, but
I see the hand.
it highlights you. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, I've got to become real first. So as soon as I can get the camera working, I'll be a real person on here.
Well, it actually does show it even if your camera's not on.
Oh,
Yeah.
does it? Oh,
Yeah.
good.
The usage depends on the number of people on the screen. A screen can hold about 25 people, so that the committee that we have, we can probably just, raise our hand that way. But certainly if we get public comment, we should see it. They should raise their hands through that link, so that also we can then know, you can know what the order is. If 10 people raise their hand, it's very helpful to know who to call on next.
Does it show them which
It's-
order? Okay, why don't you do this? Just raise your hand, everybody, so I can see how this works. See if I even see it. Okay, I see Tody's got her hand raised.
And I went to the top of the list. I see the panelists and the attendees.
Oh, so you can
So
tell. who
I
this is.
can tell who's yeah.
Okay. Nobody else has raised their hand yet.
I can't
Oh,
find it.
Oh, raise hand. Okay.
Oh,
Sometimes I have it, but this time.
Doug's is on there. Doug's got it.
Yeah, mine isn't there. I can't,
Bottom of the screen.
I don't think we,
I know, I can't bring it up. It's not bringing
I
it
don't
up.
have it, and I don't know why I don't have it.
oh, we got Noah now.
All right,
And
yeah,
see,
now I
that-
got
Tody
it.
can speak first, then Doug, then Noah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there, now Rachel.
Yeah,
Rachel's got it.
came up. I had it, I kept clicking on participants and couldn't see the participants, but now I'm able to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but I still am not getting the hand to raise. And I don't know why.
It, Jane, do you have the participant tab open?
I have the list up here.
Yeah. So if you hit the participant tab on probably on your right-hand side of the screen, it'll show all the names.
Mhm.
And then you'll see the raise hand button. You hit the raise hand. It doesn't show the raise hand necessarily on your picture. It'll show it next to your name on the participant tab.
Right.
So down below,
Yeah, but I'm
very, very
I'm
bottom,
clicking on it.
double click on the participants. And then to the right, it should bring up.
I'm not
list
getting it
of-
down at the bottom. Okay, now I've got, no, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it anywhere. I'm sorry.
Okay.
That's all right. You can just raise your hand.
Yeah, just raise your hand. We don't know. It's not going to matter for us too
Yeah.
much. And I think that's probably true going forward. Wow.
Yeah.
We should be so lucky to have that many people involved. Okay. So there's no public comments. You guys are definitely on for Thursday at 8:30.
Yes.
I'll
And
do
I'll
better.
I'll resend all the links and call the other two members. Yeah.
Okay. And I will also, and will, the land trust will be on that list too. Andrew, Maggie, and Jeremy.
Yes, they were added. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Just so you know, Tom will probably be on because I may not be here. My husband's having knee replacement tomorrow, so
Oh,
I'll
okay.
Oh,
be.
my goodness,
Yeah.
good luck.
Okay.
So if I'm not here, Tom will be here.
Okay.
I said,
Your hand went up.
good, there was a little tiny sign down here, so I'm gonna lower my hand, boom.
Okay.
Okay, so now sometimes it has it down at the bottom, but this was in the participants list, unobtrusively way over at the right-hand side. I don't know why. Anyway, as long as I know what to do.
So Tody, just sort of an administrative question here. So the land trust will be presenting their project to us, but do only the hosts of the meeting, are they the only ones allowed to put the documents up?
No, you were able to do it. They should be able to do it.
They should be able to do it too?
Because I brought them in as panelists, not as attendees.
Okay, good. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Okay, perfect. So I don't have to worry. Okay, good.
Yeah. Is there, just a question, I'm thinking my council hat's on. Will we get documents beforehand so the committee can review?
Yeah, actually, I've sent them everything except for the application form already. But what I'll do, Tody, is I'll send another email out and I'll resend all of them so that all of you guys will have them again. And in the future, I'll definitely CC you on there.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
But will they be coming with the completed application form that we can see in advance?
You know what? I'll give Andrew a call today. It's really
it would be
it's
helpful
pretty
to have a preliminary review.
right. Right.
Right, because I have the forms, but not filled out yet.
They have the forms, but they're not filled out. Correct. Yes. Okay.
Suzanne, can I ask
So
you a
I'll
question?
talk to Andrew and then I'll resend you guys all the information.
I think Noah has a question.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so Suzanne, could you ask, I sent you an email about this, but just to follow up, they're putting a budget in for $500,000 for that parcel, but that doesn't separate the actual purchase cost. That includes like their management of it. Could you find out what the actual purchase cost of the parcel is?
Yeah, actually the application should say the purchase cost. They should not have management fees in there at all. If they have a budget, the application asks for yes, I will definitely tell them to separate it all.
Yeah, because it said 500,000, but that included sort of the administrative component to it, not just the purchase price.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe we actually fund anything other than the purchase, as I recall. So yeah, they need to.
That's correct. That's
Yeah,
correct. We don't
Yeah,
fund
so
the
they
management costs.
need to understand what they're asking for, what we can and can't do. I mean, they have the amount of money they may need to raise, but we need to know what they're asking from us and what it actually, what we're actually thinking about funding.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I need to go to another meeting.
Yeah, sorry. This is
but I'll-
longer.
I'll see you all on Thursday.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you,
Okay.
Noah.
Cody, good luck to
Okay.
your husband.
Thank you.
Meeting adjourned,
Okay.
everybody, I guess, right? Okay. See
so
you on
the-
Thursday?
So the next agenda is,
I'll have that out today.
okay, very good.
And I'm gonna talk to Andrew ASAP and I'll send you that information.
Yeah, because, Noah seems to know what we're going to be looking at and I have no idea. So it'd be very helpful.
Oh, you don't? Oh, budget wise, yes. Okay.
Oh, no, I don't know what property we're looking at. I asked for that information and never got it.
Oh, I sent it all.
Really?
I sent
I
it to
got it.
everybody. Huh.
I did get it.
Okay, I sent it to the whole committee. I thought you received it. Sorry, Rachel.
I have it. I have it also, Sue, but it was an attachment at the bottom of an email. Maybe shouldn't see that, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I
Okay.
can double check, but I wasn't clear. So thank you.